Hello and welcome to my video. This video is all about furloughing and how we eventually get away from it. It's part of a series of videos about the current government help, but also about tax and accounting issues. So if you'd like to see future content, then please subscribe to the channel, and it really helps me out if you could like it. So furloughing. So let's just remember what furloughing is. It's where we send somebody home and then we pay them 80% of their salary. We can top it up, but we get back from the government 80% of their salary, or £2,500, whichever is the lower. And it all started off a long time ago, because here I am at the end of May, and it started actually in March. It's hard to think that we've been sort of not working properly for all that amount of time. But it started, I put that March separately because it sort of happened towards the end of March, but then it could be backdated to the beginning of March. But I don't know how you could furlough somebody when you didn't even know what the word meant. But hey ho, that's the government rules for you. I can't change that. And then it's going on happily for April, May, June, July. So that's 5 months in total. And what they're announcing now is that in August and September, there's going to be some sort of phasing out. Well, we don't know what that means. So they haven't told us. So hopefully in the next few weeks, they'll tell us exactly what that means, which will be really helpful. But they're talking about something where you can bring people in part-time and where the government pays some of them, and you as an employer have to pay for some of them, some of their time. And it actually brings in the crucial question is, do you want them back at all or not? Because you are definitely going to have to pay for at least part of the salary of people who have been furloughed once we get into August, September. So a couple of other things that are sort of, people take holidays while they're furloughed. That's fine. You have to pay them 100% of their pay while they're on holiday, but you can still get the furlough money, we believe, back. And that seems to be established amongst the accountancy community, and that seems to be what you can do. Notice period. I've researched this. So if you're going to make somebody redundant, obviously their redundancy pay, you can't get back from the government. Why on earth would you? It's nothing to do with the furlough. The whole point of furlough is to stop people being made redundant. So you can't get the redundancy pay. But the question then is, can you get their money? Can you get money back while before they're made redundant, while they're working their notice? And we think they can. If you look at the government help on this, it's silent on it. And I've sort of been asking about in the sort of accounting community, and we think you can claim it back, but I might retrace that if further evidence or the government announces something to say you can't. But I think you can claim it back because they should be working for you during their notice period. Now, I know that when somebody's in their notice period, they're working, not working. But I think that subtle difference is very important to employers, but might be lost on the people who make the legislation. So they are working while they're in their notice period, but you're sending them home, so they're not working. Now, I think you will have to top their income up to 100%, or maybe you can agree a longer furlough period. I mean, you need to agree that with them. This is one of the things where HR and finance are joined at the hip. You need to agree all these things with your employees because it's connected to their contracts of employment and the rights that they have as employees. But we believe you can. Obviously, it's a pile-on. If it's a pay in lieu of notice, you can't claim that back because it's in lieu of notice, so it's just a payment. But if they're working the notice, I think you can, which is important because it's how we get away from the furlough now. So as we get into August, then we're going to have to make a decision about whether we re-employ the people or get them to work again. Is that re-employ? Anyway, if you take people off furlough and bring them back into the business. Now, if somebody's been away for 5 months, it does beg the question about whether you need them or not. And I just, there's 9 million people who are on furloughed in this country. I can't believe there aren't going to be quite a lot of redundancies out of that. And it's important as an employer to act responsibly to the business, and also to the retaining employees and to yourself. So to do that, we need to get on with it, because July might be their notice period. June, we need to have some sort of procedure to make people redundant, if that's what we're going to do. So we'll might have to choose who, and all the sort of things that an HR department should be involved in, or an HR advisor, so you don't breach their contract and they don't sue you for wrongful dismissal, because that still applies. So you need to be careful, and it probably takes 2 months to get them out. And if there's something in their contract, say they've got an enhanced period of notice, then you need to have a look at that. So, given that we need to do this in June, beginning of June really, and when this is made, this video is made, is the end of May, we don't have long, so we need to get on with it. So, because, if you're a pub, and we don't know if there'll be any exemptions in August, or whether the pubs will be allowed to open, or if they're allowed to open, whether you've got to do social distancing, or what's the point of going to a pub if you're doing social distancing? The point of going to a pub is to socialise. You do sometimes wonder whether the people in Westminster do have human contact and do understand how the world works, but hey ho, that's not for me to decide. It's just for me to have my own opinion about. I think there's also an issue about volunteers. So some people have volunteered to be furloughed because they've had their children at home and they haven't been able to work, or they just can't work from home for various reasons. They've asked to be furloughed. So I think you need to be very careful of these people and decide, will they be able to work at home? Will you be able to make the workplace safe for them? I think these are really really important issues, and some people will want to come back to work, and some people have been too scared to come back to work by all the stuff that's been put out. So people who volunteered to go to furlough, you need to speak to and see how they want to come back to work, or indeed whether they want to come back to work. I've seen imaginative schemes where you got 3 on 3 off. So the minimum furlough period is 3 weeks. So if you've got like half the work that you normally do, you can make half your workforce work 3 weeks, then furlough them, and then have the other half work 3 weeks and then furlough them. So, and that can take the business from complete shutdown to working half time, with a hope that you can work full time once we get into July and August, and and hopefully the economy returns to the new normality, which is hopefully similar to the old normality, although it won't be quite. And then, you just got to make sure you got the notice period. You may well ask, how is this all going to be paid for? So there's 9 million people on furlough. The government's giving loans, guaranteeing loans, giving all this money out. My own personal view is that they probably will increase taxes, but not by very much, and not by nearly enough to pay for it all. So, and our Chancellor always looks to be smiling. Everybody's his friend. But he just appears to me to be like the guy at the bar who's buying everybody drinks. And everybody's his friend because, if you've got too many staff, have some money. You need a loan, have a loan. Money's just going out. But, which is fine, you can smile and he can be the most popular person. But it occurs to me that the credit card he's using is mine and yours, and all of ours. He's using our money, and because I think they're going to print the money to pay for all of this. And when they print money to pay for all of this, what happens is the money in our bank accounts becomes less valuable. And I think this is a really important issue. So if you've got a substantial amount of money saved in your bank account, just be really careful and consider if you want to hedge it against inflation, because I just can't see how you can just give money out like this without it creating inflation. Somebody has to pay, and I think I'm worried it's me. So I think that's an important thought, but mustn't be gloomy at the moment. The important thing is getting things back going again. I understand that. So this is my video on furloughing. If you've got any thoughts, got any questions, then please put them on the comments below. Thank you for getting this far. If you've got this far, you might consider subscribing, and you might want to like the video because that really helps me. Thank you.